No one teaches you how to fail properly. They teach you how to survive it. How to patch the holes, keep the smile steady, and shuffle your shame into metaphors about resilience. But not how to really fail, to live inside the echo of what didn't work, to sit with the cold breath of a thing that didn't love you back. They don't teach you how to lose something so slowly that you don't even know it's gone until one day you reach for it and there's only dust and some old version of yourself still kneeling, still begging. They don't teach you what to do with the silence after. How it stretches. How it changes shape. How it starts to sound like you. Like your name spoken underwater. Like your own thoughts trying to forget you. And no one talks about the kind of failure that isn't a moment. Not the broken leg before the race, not the interview you bombed, not the "we regret to inform you" emails stacking like apologies. No, the real kind. The quiet kind. The slow erosion of self-belief. The failure of feeling anything when you should. When your friend cries and you blink. When your lover leaves and you nod. When the thing you always wanted finally happens and you feel nothing. That kind. That's the kind of failure I know best. And you start to wonder if maybe you didn't just fail at something. Maybe you failed at being a person. At being someone else could love. At being worth the breath it takes to say your name. You learn to collect almosts. Almost called them back. Almost got the job. Almost believed in yourself long enough to finish the thing. Almost asked for help. You become a curator of close enoughs. They glitter at first. Tiny trophies of how hard you tried. But over time, they start to rust. And no one comes to your museum of what could have been. Not even you. No one teaches you how to walk home after the last thing you hoped for turns its back. They don't tell you that your feet will feel like frauds. That every step will echo louder than it should. That you'll start to hate sidewalks because they lead you to doors that no longer open. And they definitely don't teach you how to stop trying. Because trying is holy, right? Effort is sacred. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. Just do the work. But what if trying is the thing that's killing you? What if every attempt is another needle and you're just bleeding out, slowly, politely? I wish someone had told me how to fail without turning into a ghost. How to mourn something that never existed. How to forgive yourself when the thing that broke wasn't the dream, it was you. But no one teaches you that. So you teach yourself. You learn how to sit still when the world keeps moving. You learn how to drink coffee without planning your comeback. You learn how to stop bargaining with time, how to stop turning every heartbreak into a lesson, every disappointment into a setup for something greater. You learn how to be here. Without waiting. And eventually, you realize the failure isn't the end. It's just the quiet part. The part where no one claps. The part where you aren't impressive, or clever, or strong. The part where you're just real. Sometimes, that's the only thing left. And somehow, it's enough. The quiet part teaches you things the noise never could. It teaches you that not all sadness is loud. Some of it is soft, like dust settling in a room no one enters anymore. You can live in that room for years and forget what it's like to breathe anything else. You learn the weight of your own name. How it feels when you whisper it in the dark and no one answers. How even your voice sounds foreign when you're not performing for anyone. How honesty becomes heavier the longer it's left unsaid. You start to notice the small betrayals, not the big, cinematic ones. Not the friends who disappear or the lovers who lie. No, the small ones. The way you flinch at kindness. The way you downplay your joy so it won't be taken from you. The way you practice your pain into polite anecdotes. It was hard, you say, with a smile. As if hard is enough to hold the ache. You begin to see how often you abandon yourself. That version of you who still believes in something, you leave them behind when the world doesn't clap. You leave them behind when you mess up the second try. You leave them behind the moment someone else's approval feels more urgent than your own truth. And then you wonder why nothing feels whole. But there's a moment, not a big one, not a lightning bolt, just a flicker, when you sit with your failure long enough that it begins to feel less like a wound and more like a room. A room with no windows, maybe. No doors. But it's yours. And for the first time, you stop trying to escape it. You start to decorate. Not because you've given up. But because you're tired of pretending it's not where you live. You hang old letters on the walls, ones you never sent. You leave your shoes by the door, even if no one else will walk through it. You let your reflection stay in the mirror longer than usual. Not to admire. Not to criticize. Just to say, you're still here. You light a candle, not because you expect a miracle, but because even ghosts deserve a little warmth. And in that room, in that failed version of your life, something quiet begins to hum. It's not hope. Hope is too loud. It's not purpose, that word has been sold too many times. It's something smaller. Something softer. Maybe it's the part of you that never wanted to win, just to be seen. Maybe it's the child you once were, still holding out their hands, not asking for much. Just for someone to stay. Just for the hurting to matter. And you realize, failure didn't kill you. It stripped you. It took everything that wasn't real. Everything you built to impress people who were never watching. Everything you chased to silence the voice that only ever asked, am I enough like this? Like this, undone, unspectacular, uncertain. The answer is yes. But not because someone finally told you. Because you stopped asking. Because you stopped needing to be fixed to be felt. Because you started listening, not to the noise of the world trying to sell you back to yourself, but to the silence you once feared, the one that whispers, you're allowed to exist without earning it. You wake up and feel the old panic crawl back into your bones, like a tenant with a spare key. It doesn't knock. It never has. It just slides into your chest and sits there, quiet but heavy. And you go about your day pretending you're not carrying it, that ancient weight of needing to be enough. You brush your teeth like it means something. You answer emails with half your soul missing. You nod through conversations, smile when appropriate, say you're fine. You are always fine. Fine is the mask you learned to wear before you could even name the ache underneath. But even then, even in the forgetting, something's changed. You no longer believe the lie that success will save you. That healing is a destination. That if you just fix enough parts of yourself, someone will finally stay. You no longer chase closure like it's owed to you. You no longer turn your longing into performance. Now, you just feel it. You let it ache. Like a muscle remembering movement. And you learn to sit inside the gray. The unremarkable. The Tuesday mornings where nothing happens. The evenings where no one texts. The stretch of time that used to feel unbearable now just feels quiet. You start to recognize that grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like a drawer full of notebooks you stopped writing in. Sometimes it looks like playlists you skip because they know too much. Sometimes it looks like laughing too loud so no one asks how you're really doing. You grieve the versions of yourself that didn't make it. The ones who tried too hard. The ones who were too soft for this world. The ones who believed in people who didn't believe back. But you grieve gently now. No more rage. No more bargaining. Just that slow, steady kind of mourning, the kind that teaches you how to hold something without needing to fix it. You start to notice beauty in strange places. Not in sunsets or love stories or perfectly curated lives. But in cracked sidewalks. In strangers who hold doors. In the way your hands tremble when you speak your truth and no one flinches. There's a kind of beauty in being witnessed, not for what you do, but for what you are. That kind of seeing doesn't happen often. But when it does, you remember why you stayed. Why you didn't disappear the night you almost did. Why you kept breathing even when the air felt like knives. You remember that survival isn't a triumph. It's a beginning. That healing isn't linear, but sometimes circular, like the orbit of planets who keep returning to the same stars, not to repeat themselves, but to remember something sacred. And you realize, this whole time, you weren't broken.